everyone, it's your favorite girl, Harry, and I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to my Facts About video for Women's History Month. Before we get into the video though, remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of the things so that, I know that you're loving the content and engaging. Today, we are going to be talking about a woman that was pivotal in Black women's presence at the March on Washington. She was a former teacher, member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and advocate for equal opportunity and employment. Her name was Anna Arnold Hedgeman. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, Hedgeman was Anna Arnold Hedgeman's married name, but she was born Anna Arnold on July 5th, 1899. Ooh, we love to see a cancer, yes! We always doing work. She was born in a small town of Marshalltown, Iowa. And she would move to Anoka, Minnesota with her family at a very young age. Now, education was always tantamount in her home, and she learned how to read at home. She would, of course, go on to high school, and she would become the very first African-American person to attend Hamline University in St. Paul, Minnesota. She would graduate in 1922 with a BA in English. Due to discrimination, she would have trouble finding employment in Minnesota. So she would go on to accept a position in Spring Hills, Mississippi at Rust College, our country's oldest HBCU. She would teach English and history. Now, this is also where she would experience her first taste of Jim Crow, having to endure the unfair conditions that many Black people dealt with living in the South. This would prompt her to start her work. She would go on and work in several branches of the YWCA, or the Young Women's Christian Association, creating international education programs from 1924 to 1938. 1944 would mark the beginning of Hedgeman's work in politics and civil rights. She would be appointed the executive director of the National Council of the Permanent Fair Employment Practices Committee. Whew, that's a lot to say. She would then go on to work for former President Harry Truman in 1948 for his re-election campaign. Quick interruption, my apologies. There was some technical difficulties and part of my video was lost and you missed an integral fact in Anna Hedgeman's story. So, in 1954, Anna Hedgeman became the first African-American woman to hold a position in the New York City mayoral cabinet, working for Mayor Robert Wagner. She would quit 4 years later due to gender discrimination and the fact that Mayor Wagner refused to act on progressive housing policies. Thanks so much. Back to regular disclosure programming. In 1963, she would become the only woman on the planning committee for the March on Washington. Now, she was there because her reputation preceded her. She had done impeccable work in advocating for equal opportunity and employment. But she would have to contend with people like A. Philip Randolph, and if you know history, you know he had always been a piece of work. But she also had to contend with Bayard Rustin, which was interesting to me because it was like, girl, you got your own issues to contend with. They was already trying to write you out of the narrative because you was a Black gay man in the 1960s. It's kind of like you should be on everybody's side to be heard. But whatever. Anyway, thankfully, she did shame them and remind them of Black women's role in the civil rights movement. And because of that, we were able to hear Daisy Bates speak that day. She was an integral part of the Little Rock 9 integration crisis of 1957. And you would think maybe at the age of 66, she would have been decided, child, I'm getting up there, I'm tired, I'm gonna let these kids do this work. But in 1965, she would go on to run for New York City Council president. Now, while she did not win the candidacy, she did bring to light many of the issues of poverty in the city. She would go on to work with many organizations like the National Churches Council because Miss Hedgeman was a Christian woman. And she would also become a founding member of the National Organization of Women. Sadly, on January 17th, 1990, at the age of 90, Anna Hedgeman would pass away in Harlem, New York. She would be honored by prominent Black organizations like the NAACP and the National Urban League. She would also receive honorary doctorates from Howard University and her alma mater of Hamline University in Minnesota. Hamline University would also honor Anna Hedgeman with the Hedgeman Center of Student Diversity Initiatives and Programs in April of 2011. That is all that I have for you today, my loves. I hope I was able to teach you about someone new. I'm learning right along with y'all because I did not know who Anna Hedgeman was before doing research on her for this video. So it's always fun to learn together and teach people what I have found out, especially, you know, during these unprecedented times when education around Black history is being threatened. I am always happy to inform others. And I thank you all for tuning in because you could have been anywhere else on the internet, but you decided to watch me. Bye!